Millions of Americans buy this $2 bag, but almost no one knows what really happens inside the factory that makes it.
Behind these walls lies a process the public rarely sees, until now.
Every shipment is logged, traced, and tightly controlled.
Millions of kernels vanish into the system in seconds, no room for error.
Before cooking even begins, the factory eliminates anything unfit for America's $2 chip.
Purification, the harshest stage most people never imagine. Inside these tanks, corn undergoes a chemical transformation older than the factory itself. High heat, high pressure, one mistake can halt production instantly. Texture determines everything, and rejection means thousands lost. The purge strips away what doesn't belong, leaving only what the grinder can handle. Every lift adds weight, and every second adds pressure. This is where corn dies and dough is born. One continuous, flawless sheet, the foundation of every triangle. In here, shape isn't chosen, it's engineered. Chaos becomes control just seconds before frying. Once they enter this tunnel, nothing stays soft. Not the corn, not the process, not the truth.
Inside this tunnel, temperatures soar high enough to reshape corn in seconds. Every flip is engineered, and every second inside this oil counts. Fresh from the oil, each chip carries the factory's heat and its secrets. Cooling is violent, but necessary before flavor can attach. Here, plain chips prepare to meet the mix that defines taste. Salt, motion, precision, the simplest ingredient delivered with industrial force. Human eyes still decide what machines can't. Perfection is hand-selected. Every ounce matters, even in a $2 bag. Gravity, timing, and machinery combine to protect each fragile piece. A fraction of a second is all it takes to lock in freshness and the truth inside. If one code is off, the entire batch is flagged. Every box is packed to withstand thousands of miles of transport. Once sealed, these cartons are locked, untouched by human hands. Order, weight, symmetry, built for the journey across America. Wrapped, secured, protected, but the factory story is far from over. But once wrapped, these chips enter a part of the factory few ever witness. Behind sealed doors, the real scale of distribution begins. Rows upon rows, each one holding thousands of bags. Every unit is tracked, every batch is logged, nothing moves without data. Approval here means the chips are cleared for distribution. Space is engineered vertically, every inch accounted for. Labels and lot codes are clear. Confirmed, dates match. Pointing to outbound lanes, clear to proceed. Once merged here, the factory's true logistics engine activates. Each destination is chosen by an algorithm, not by human hands. Your $2 chips are routed like high-value cargo. From warehouse shadows, straight into America's logistics system. Every inch of these trucks becomes a moving warehouse. Once sealed, the cargo becomes traceable from state to state. Millions of bags travel thousands of miles, all starting from this moment. But inside the factory, another part of the story is still unfolding. While trucks head out, the factory continues its unseen internal work. This is the pathway of heat, oil, and particles the public never sees. Even the air inside this factory is monitored like a chemical lab.
Oil breaks down fast, and testing determines when entire batches must be replaced. Crunch isn't an accident. It's measured, verified, engineered. 1% too high, and the entire line can be shut down. Nothing contaminated survives this checkpoint. A single weak seal means oxygen, and oxygen means failure. Even the inside of every bag is scanned for consistency. Nothing goes to waste. Even rejected chips find their place. Every factory has a closed-loop system, and this one is no different. Even scraps tell the factory a story about texture, breakage, and pressure. Every ounce of waste is tracked. Nothing leaves undocumented. Even waste requires accountability and strict safety. Outside, waste leaves the system, but inside, the real story continues. Beyond the public floors lies the part of the factory few workers ever access. Entry here requires clearance, and for good reason. Crunch isn't guessed, it's measured at microscopic levels. Every chip is pushed until it fails, so others don't. A chip absorbs more oil than you think, and the factory watches every percent. If a bag survives this room, it survives any highway in America. Heat reveals weaknesses normal eyes never notice. Every bag must survive air pressure, from mountains to cargo holds. These survivors represent the highest standards inside the factory. Every movement, every batch, every deviation recorded. Training and performance rely on constant surveillance. Keep the rhythm steady. Don't let any pass. Good. Every worker must match the pace of the machines or fall behind. After testing and retraining, the pace becomes relentless. Every night, the factory resets, washed down to protect tomorrow's chips. What drains here prepares the factory for its next cycle. A new shift begins, and with it, the next wave of America's $2 chips. This batch is a bit under. Salt level is low. Let's check. Even the simplest flavor demands absolute consistency. Millions of identical bags, each engineered to withstand travel across the nation. Gravity and timing combine to give each bag its signature fullness. Settled chips mean protection and room for air. Oxygen leaves, freshness enters. This step defines shelf life. Once sealed, the chip becomes a product. Precision here ensures value, especially for a $2 promise. Every carton becomes a small vault for the chips inside. Locked, sealed, and ready for America. The scale becomes obvious here, millions of bags, countless pallets. This is where the journey meets the highway. Thousands of miles ahead, yet every chip began from the same grain of corn. Once sealed, the journey leaves the factory and enters America. And this is how modern factories produce America's $2 chips from raw corn to the truth behind the bag.